watching on YouTube, this is going to be episode 1 of our podcast. It should be an aftermath podcast, but we have an intruder here, Daut. So welcome. He's a special guest or something like that. And we have a bunch of topics that we're going to discuss. And at the end of it, of course, a Q&A with the chat. And it's going to be discussing all things AoE2 and, the scene related. So hello, Liereyy. Hello, Daut. What's up?
You're overdoing it. Hello, Hera. Thank you for inviting me after Hard was sick. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You're
welcome for you're welcome for being a plan B, of course.
I'm always there to be plan B.
Okay. At least he knows he's plan B.
It's good to keep the ego in check. Okay, so topic number 1.
Smooth.
Smooth as fuck. This go natural with you. You should do this for a living.
I'm actually gonna cry.
Yeah, let's go on topic number 1.
Number 1.
Nicholas, no, let's next topic.
Okay. Topic number 1. We have Nikov in Massive Arena 7. Now, this might...
Not anymore.
he's out, by the way, spoilers.
But you're just waiting with the soundboard. I'm gonna keep it open as well.
That's like the highlight so far, you know?
But that's not... The idea isn't Nikov's performance. It's something else that happened around it, okay? So
what happened around it?
I think Daut should explain that while I open a window real quick.
I cannot. I'm not in the mood right now. Like 2 hours before the podcast, we were discussing everything. Now it just feels bad to repeat it, right? Okay. We are taking over.
I feel like you're the only one who exactly knew what happened.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly is a hard word. Basically, Nico, after being down 2-0, decided that he doesn't want to play anymore.
Okay.
And he got 50% price pull off.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Too much? Not
Should have been 100%. No, okay. So, Master Arena 7, also, obviously, it's like a big 8-year tournament. So it's like 10K prize pool. It's a pretty big deal. A lot of top players playing. And I think when it comes to like the players getting a penalty in general, that should be reduced to probably like the worst cases, like cheating and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if I agree with just taking off prize pool when he just doesn't want to play anymore.
You cheated the casters of their content, man, and it needs to be gone.
Yeah, I can understand why.
The dominant.
I can understand why, like from a caster's perspective, like if you expecting a game and it doesn't show up, it could be annoying. But yeah, I think penalizing the player like that should be a little too harsh for me personally.
Do we even know what happened exactly? Like why he didn't play the first game? Like, for all we know, it could be like an IRL issue, or he had to go, or whatever.
Well, basically, Nico said that he doesn't feel like playing, so 50% basically.
Okay. So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think real life could get in the way of these things. Like, there could be a reason to actually give a forfeit or that you can't play anymore if it's health or like a death in the family or anything crazy like that. I don't know if not wanting to play anymore is enough of a reason, but I think 50% in any case is way too much, to be honest.
Yeah, now let's keep it serious. In my opinion, like player should not get penalized for the prize pool he already won, right? Mm-hmm. He won that prize pool round before, and now how do you judge what reason is good enough? Like, if your dog died 5% off, if somebody's closer 20, like where's the list? Like where we draw the line?
Also, like
if you're no money, like sorry, Liereyy, for interrupting, but I was not fucking finished. So, what happened if he did that round before that? He gets 50% prize pool of no prize pool. Then there is no punishment, right?
So yeah, you can like screw over the tournament in like the round 1, but as the higher you go, the more at stake is kind of weird. Larry, you were gonna say?
Yeah, and which stage was that? Was that round of 16 or which round was that? Do you guys know?
I think it was in group stage. Yeah, round of 24. So like the last round in group stage, winner goes into top 16, loser goes out. So it's pretty high up in the tournament, but not like obviously at the finals. But
50% is like it's like half the prize pool. Imagine it was like a bigger tournament, he was like at the semifinals. You just reduced his prize pool by like half. Like $1,000, for example, just gone. Just because he didn't feel like playing or like he forfeited.
Yeah, and imagine the
It's
situation
absurd.
actually. Imagine he just decided to play. He plays like the last game and then resigns in Dark Age. Like he can accidentally delete his DCA. I feel like if he wanted to play it off as like an accident, he could have done it. And so the question is like, do we make it so that the rules force the players to create these weird scenarios so they can get out of playing, or should the players just be allowed to forfeit in specific situations where they're giving the win to the opposing team?
Also, he could have just lied, right? He could have just said like, "Oh, something I have
Always
to go,
lie.
something really important came up, or something happened in real life, or his internet cut out, whatever." And would he have gotten the same punishment? Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
That-
Yeah, go ahead, Daut.
Caught him on the spot.
I want to point out the point here is not to like go crusade over the John Slower tournament.
Yeah.
Like for example, against Reapard, I was sick. I played that series, doesn't matter. But next round, I had to play on Sunday against Jordan, and they did come do me favor and extend the deadline for 2 days. So they will go extra step to help the player. That's there. But my point here is this is so bad because we are trying to make a professional scene. Players need to make a living out of tournaments. And if the admins have the right to take part of your prize pool whenever they, well, not feel like it, but they have that power, well, I cannot plan my food for my kids if tomorrow I make some mistake and my prize pool is gone, right?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where you expect professionalism from the player, but in the case that for whatever reason it might not be there, like something comes up or whatnot, I think it should be a little bit more of like a mutual agreement and not just like a slash, half is cut or half is money and right away. And yeah,
He probably should get punished, but punish should not be prize pool. Like punish is he's not allowed to play next Master Arena, right?
Yeah.
And not from the first time. Like if that keeps happening, if Nico is that type of the player who will always do that, okay, he cannot do that. That's bad.
Yeah.
But he did it first time ever, I believe, and he gets 50% off prize pool. Now the prize pool he earned is low, so it's not such a big drama. But 50% is 50%, right? If it was like TD finals, he is losing 20K or something like.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the precedent, really, more than this particular case. Just for those who are not really informed, he at that stage won $100, and he secured that $100 from the round before. Like, if Nikov lost 3-0, like in 5 minutes every game, he got completely destroyed, he would leave that with $100. So the $100 was secured because of his forfeit of the game 3 in a best of 5. They cut 50% prize, and we're just saying how he earned the prize pool. The punishment should come from something completely different, and it should be just for the repeated offenders potentially as well.
Also, why 50%? It's just there should be like a rule or handbook for that. I don't know if there is one because I haven't checked Masters of Arena or anything. But I doubt the rule is 50% if you stop playing after the second game and you're down to 0. I doubt that. And basically, just I wouldn't say coming up with numbers, but like just 50% out of nowhere is like it's not really too professional. It's just he didn't want to play, he didn't feel like it. For all we know, we just saw him not playing the first game. He refused to play, so we didn't even know what was happening.
Well, he did say he doesn't feel like not playing, and that is quite bad. I have to say,
I mean,
he has to lie a little bit. Like for example,
then
I did the same against Jordan.
But then we're just encouraging for him to lie, right? Like if he said, for example, I don't know, someone died or some accident happened, I have to go, then would it have been 50%? Probably not.
Yeah.
Or people would have understood more, or people wouldn't be that harsh to him, right? So we're actually encouraging lying here, which is also like the complete wrong way.
It shouldn't come to that. It shouldn't be like the the whole thing is like, oh, if you have a valid excuse, you get off the hook, and if you have no excuse, then you get punished a lot. I think we should find a punishment that fits in any situation to prevent these things from being a recurring thing. But in this case, I feel like I don't know. And actually, I want to ask a question: like, should players be allowed to forfeit in general, or is that not something we want?
Yes, I think it's individual sport, right? It's not football when you have 10 players on the bench, you just get somebody else if he's not playing correct, he's not burned out, whatever. Here, this happens, right? In tennis, it does happen. And again, it's bad for the player. You create the bad image for yourself. Like, for example, Novak Djokovic. they're still like not giving him the credit because at the beginning he was taking a lot of medical timeouts and stuff like that. And people keep remembering that he was like, let's say, poor sportsmanship at the beginning, but it only damaged himself, right? And should not damage his livelihood. And if you want to have professional players, I mean, he's top 24 spot. He should be able to be close to make a living out of that. And it's already, well, not the highest price pool, and then you take half. I
Also,
don't disagree with that.
Like he said, he doesn't feel like playing. What if he was actually feeling bad, you know? And like in real sports game or any other game, in real life, in soccer, tennis, whatever, if you don't feel like playing, if you have an injury, you stop playing for your own health, for the better. Here in games, everyone assumes he didn't feel like playing, he doesn't want to do anything, like minus 50% price pool. What if I was actually feeling bad, you know? We don't know that. For all we know, he just said he wasn't feeling like it. Yeah,
you think I was
encouraging lying?
You think I was sick against Jordan? I was not sick. I just didn't feel like playing. Got 2 extra
But
days.
no one can actually prove that, you know? So it's like, that's the thing.
I think it's I think the best middle ground is to just make it so the punishment comes later. That makes the most amount of sense. And it's regarded as like poor sportsmanship for the tournament if you just forfeit for no reason. But maybe we just allow the players to forfeit if they so want to. But that could lead to complications. Like imagine someone just forfeits the grand finals. Like yes, everyone.
I mean,
it would
I feel
be
like
terrible.
you damage yourself way harder than the tournament.
Of course, you damage yourself like crazy, but you also really like kill the tournament, and that's a pretty big deal. So
yeah, but then there has to be some penalties, obviously.
It would be better if Viper 40 fight KO to the finals, to be fair.
Damn, too soon, Daut. This is why we brought Daut and not any of the other GLs. He knows the AM vibe around here. That's good. Yeah, I mean, anything else we want to say about this topic? I think it's kind of one that's still new, still fresh, because I think the whole idea of players, players getting punished or players having to be professional is more or less something new for the 808 scene.
Well, I think we are in the weird spot between professional and amateur, right? Because nobody, maybe you and Viper can make a living out of the tournament. Like, for example, I'm in top 16 there, top 8. If I lose next round, I earn 500. I cannot make a living out this month out of 500, right?
Yeah.
So can you really expect for me to be always there, always perform, always be in the time, do everything super professional? Well, yes, because we are a friendly community and we want that. We want to grow. But I'm not even sure what's the right direction. To keep it more friendly, more like, well, we are all here to love this game, give good games and so on. Or you want professional, like, for example, you invite me to this podcast. Okay, Hera, my hour is $100 per hour. Send it, mail it. Or we want to help each other out. I prefer that way.
Yeah. But the problem is when you help each other out and when it's like a mutual agreement, whenever something happens that's like not part of the agreement, then you can't really enforce like a punishment without having it have been serious from the start, I suppose. Yeah, it's a bit of a
that's why it's a weird spot. It's a weird spot, right? This is all game. We all know each other for so many years, right? And it's hard to like enforce the rule. Like, for example, Nelly is my friend, my teammate. He's also tournament host, and he forcing rule to me would just break the friendship as well, right? But again, it's bad for me to like disrespect his tournament as well. I would break the friendship like that. So I'm not sure what's right way to this. Honestly, I prefer more friendly way.
Yeah.
How we used to do this for 20 years. It's chill. We all support each other. We host each other after the streams. We are always there if players need to help to the caster to cast the finals.
Yeah.
Always there. Just make the game grow.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, like, taking 50% price pull off, and we are also friendly. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. And also, I'm also not sure like if it should be like the admin's call to do that on a case-by-case basis. Maybe it should be like discussed after the tournament and whatnot, and not just done on the spot. But I want to bring up another topic on this point. What about, because in most handbooks, there's a rule that says you have to be like sportsmanship. Like you can't be not sportsmanship. So what do you guys think about like typing in tournament chats and pausing in tournament chats or in tournament games?
What would you even consider sportsmanship?
So
what would you even define as sportsmanship?
The way I see it is sportsmanship.
People see it differently, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like sportsmanship is like respecting your opponent, respecting the host, respecting the the tournament atmosphere. So anything that goes away from that to either disrespect your opponent, disrespect the tournament or the host, is like not sportsmanship, pretty much.
So basically, bad intentions and bad actions.
Yeah, exactly.
In other words.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when it comes to
If those things are applied, NBL would be in jail by now. What he did for the years. Like,
I'm not sure if I agree with that, actually.
Sitting in the cell right now.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, because like I think the worst thing NBL did actually was outpost rush Tato in NAC2.
Exactly.
And then the best part about it is that they sat next to each other on the interview.
No, they said. Wait, I was no. Do you remember the setup actually? Like the setup was like he was sitting on the opposite sides, so you could actually face each other. If you were tall, or not even if you were tall.
You see the guy
like,
above the
you would just be like head up, you know. What is his reaction?
You place a few outposts, take a look at Tato. How's he doing? Yeah, but I think like when it comes to stuff within the game, I guess is that considered also like poor sportsmanship? Like maybe walling and Vils in the corner, outpost rushing. Maybe that's part of it as well. I don't know.
Deleting all the villagers.
I've done that a few times.
I know.
Is that really bad though? They were my Vils, bro. I made them.
Can I delete my kids then? Like, is that the rule? Okay.
No,
Okay.
the Vils only cost 50 food. The kids cost a lot more than that.
I can more rice then.
Can't delete the kids.
I feel like it's kind of like gray area, right? There's nothing black or white. It's more like a line you have to draw, and like also some agreements on both ends. It's kind of a hard topic.
Yeah, for sure.
Every topic is kind of.
Why did we put those topics in the hardest one?
This is a hard topic. That's why they need a lot of the discussion around it.
I see.
Okay, let's talk about pausing, because here's the thing. In NAC, so many numbers, in NAC4, the one that just happened, people kept making a big deal about pausing, and for whatever reason, Nilly was like, there's no pausing whatsoever. But like, the problem with no pausing in tournaments is that AoE2 gives no natural break in general. For example, in League of Legends, sometimes you die, you have 30 seconds where your hands can do whatever you want. You can drink water, do whatever you want. When it comes to like shooter games, you die, there's a cooldown. But AoE2 has no such thing. So if you take your hands off the keyboard, you're at a disadvantage. So when it comes to the long games, is it just no pausing? Like, are we cool with that?
I think between games, it shouldn't be allowed to pause. It's like if you take off, I mean, even shooter games, for example, you can also put your hands off the keyboard when you die, but you should still look around and other games as well. What's going on, right? You should look at the situation, where you go next, where you shoot next, what's your next play. So even there, when you just take your hands off the keyboard and just look around and do whatever, you're still at disadvantage. So I wouldn't see why you would be able to pause during a game. However, there should be like rules for if you have technical issues or if you have something, if you're not allowed to pause and you have technical issues, your mouse stops working or something. What do? You know, it's like
technical pauses. Technical pauses you're allowed, but we're talking pauses just to drink water or to stretch or something like that.
I would rather say no. I would lean towards no.
Depends on the game length. Like imagine a few days ago, ACM and Viper played 5-hour game. Like you should have some pauses there, right?
3-hour arena and I casted it.
Yeah. And you get the pauses, right? You could do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think
they even had pauses. I think they went to like P 2 times or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if ACM went for a smoke break. This guy is like off the charts with the smoke, so for sure some pauses.
I would go for shisha breaks. Meanwhile,
speaking of that,
yeah.
But I think one thing that could be interesting, because pauses became like a really big topic lately. I don't know why only recently, not in the past. In the past, you pause, you admin you read. There's a ton of reasons to reset the game back then.
Look at the tech tree.
Yeah, but exactly. But nowadays, people are trying to be, or tournaments in general, want to be more strict on pauses. I've heard Nilly say this. I've heard T90 say this. I've heard a lot of viewers say this as well. And it makes sense to keep pauses away from tournaments, because if you pause every 2 seconds, it kills the flow. But maybe we should implement a rule that like past 45 minutes, you have a pause. Every 30 minutes after that, one pause. Something like that. Pausing maximum 1 minute could be a good flow for the players to keep it healthy over the long games as well.
Hard topic, yes and no. Like, for example, if you need a pause, obviously it's good for you, but I don't need a pause. I want to continue playing. You're killing my flow as well. Mm-hmm. It affects me as well. Like, personally, I hate pausing during the game, right? When somebody pauses, I'm like, and my shisha is not working, and my hands are I'm what I'm doing with my hands, right? And you're like chilling, drinking water, stretching, and I'm like, you're tilting me. I want to play, right?
Also, there are like some situations where it's beneficial for one player to pause and think about the situation, and for other player, it's like he knows what he's doing, he knows the next steps, and then it's just completely takes advantage of one guy.
Yeah, like you siege push me, you know the strat. I get surprised, I pause, and I think for like 2 minutes. What should I do here? What's the optimal play? Yeah, I see what you mean. That I don't know if we're even gonna find a solution, but I think maybe pausing past 45 minutes, where there's not that much strategy left to uncover, makes more sense than no pausing. It makes more sense. Yeah.
When it's a spam war, pause will not hurt. But in the castle age, like you're doing your timings, then you forget market, for example, and you don't click it normal time. Then that's a problem. Right?
It's a big deal for you, for sure.
Yeah, I know. Like,
can't remember the last time I saw Daut win without a market, to be honest.
I even lose with market.
I've seen that plenty of times. Don't worry. Okay, so I think that's
all right.
For
Should we move
topic.
on to the next topic?
We shall move on. So topic 2.
We are destroying it, man.
We have, and people in the chat asking what topic we're on. I have this MVP badge right here, so now it's at number 2. Okay, so this topic is about, topic 2 is about up-and-coming players, you know, the guys that are top 30 to top 50, maybe even up to top 100. They're not winning money from tournaments, but they are close to entering the big tournaments where there is money to be made. So most tournaments are like top 32, a little bit of money there. Top 16 is really where the bigger money is being made. So if you're top 16, you have a chance to earn a living from the game. Anything below that, you're earning maybe a part-time living at best. What do you guys think that the top 30 to top 50 players need to crack into that top 16?
I think, first of all, what's important to mention is not everyone has to be a top player, you know? Like, I know once you're in the top 30, top 50, top 100, like, players aim to go for more tournaments, bigger prize pool. They want to become top 1, top 3, top 5, break into an S-tier event, whatever. Some players might not even want that, you know? Like, because everyone says, he's top 20, he's top 50, whatever. When does he break into the top X players? When does he break into this tournament? Who cares? Like, maybe he doesn't even want to do that, you know? Maybe he just played to improve. He improved a bit. No, but like it also counts for the top 200 players. If you're at a certain level, you're not aiming for a top level. You don't have to, you know? Same for casuals. If you're at a certain rating, like 18, 1900, you don't have to play to improve. You don't have to play to compete in tournaments. Maybe you're fine being top 100 player, you know?
Yeah, but I think if you ask the top 40, do you want to play every day and make no money, or do you want to play every day and have a chance to make money?
Back in the days, just became top 30 player by natural, you know? You didn't just aim towards being a top player.
But back then you were top 30 out of 100. Like,
I know, that's why I'm mentioning this topic, you know?
Of 25, like.
You just played, like 2 years later, you were top 30, you know, just naturally. Like, you didn't even know what happened.
I agree with you that back then, like, it wasn't really a business. You just played for fun, and the best players just came out of nowhere, and you just played the same games versus the higher level players. It's not like you make more money, because back then there was no money to be made whatsoever, very, very little. But now I feel like we're in a position where there's more like if I make money, I can invest more time. This could be a job. This could be a side hustle. So I feel like more and more these days, the top guys are looking, to break into that top scene. I don't know what you think about it, though, Daut.
I mean, I need mental break from what Liereyy said first. I need to process that, like.
Just because he spent his lifetime trying to win a Red Bull, he disagrees with me, you know?
No, because we are in a very different stage of the Age of Empires. Like, we have like 10, 20 professional players, and the top 40, top 30 is not casual players anymore. They are semi-professionals. They are trying to break that in. They're not just playing for the fun anymore.
I was mentioning the top 50, top 100, top 200 players as well.
Okay, top 1,000 players playing for fun. We get that.
Who knows?
We are talking top 30 player who wants to break that barrier to actually make it a living.
Find the top 30 to 50 players, right? Like players, for example, all 2K2s, 2K3 players can also break into the top 50 players. Like it's hard to define these days with all the ladder, all the qualifiers. How do you prepare all that stuff? So you can't just define.
It's a way higher competition now, and if you wanted to be a top 30 player, you need to practice at least 4 hours a day, right? Yeah. And if you're practicing that much, either you're a student or you're looking to make a living out of that.
Yeah, because I think if you're like,
look at Mikhail, for example, or Google, or whoever was around that.
Yeah. And it comes down to like just allocation of time. If Margou spends all day playing during like a summer and doesn't make it, he can't just stop all his life and continue trying. He's gonna decide to go study, decide to go work somewhere else, and then obviously his level might decline because he's investing less time. If he does make it, boom, he's a full-time professional player, and life is obviously what he wanted.
It's not good, but it's not good.
It's not good, believe it or not. But it's what he was aiming for, so that's somewhat okay for him. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it's the kind of thing where we have 100 people that are competing for what only 16 can get at the moment. Like, there's just simply not enough money, not enough tournaments to go around to make 100 people earn a living from this game. Not yet. Unfortunately, as much as we'd want that, but not yet.
And the bigger problem is those top 30 players are competing with the full-time players.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my job, and he is just trying to break in. It's very, very hard for him, and that's something I think community need to work on, because sooner or later, even I will retire, right? Somebody will need to replace me, and we need to make them part of the tournaments, part of the money flow in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
You heard it here first. Give Daut 2 more tournaments and he's retired.
Daut, would you want to retire on a win if a win does come?
If I win, I would retire. I'm winning. Like, let's go. I'm the best now.
But if you win and you retire, it's like, wow, like he did it all and then he's out. He probably would have won the next one, but we'll never know now. You know, you leave on a nice note.
Yes, but I want to know if I will win the next one. Like, I need to know.
He has been thinking about that since the Red Bull win, you know.
I'm very competitive. I just love playing tournaments, right?
That's gonna retire at the end of the run. Like, that's it.
When a game is dead, I'm still playing this. Like, I will open the wobbly version. I'm still in it. But we were talking earlier. Like, for example, if I retired after Red Bull, I could always have that better image about, well, in the community, right? I finished the career with a win, and now I can be the caster. I can talk crap now to the Liereyy all my life. I mean, I still will, but then I would have...
You still do.
I have something to back it up, right? I quit the game when I was best. My image is, like, really good then. Like, I was older than all the players. I won. It's good image. But at the end of the day, I freaking love to compete.
And following the passion, not following what people are saying. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Back to the topic.
Yeah.
Do you guys, because I feel like the most top 30 to 50 players are looking for like ways to improve, to break into the top 16, right?
Yeah.
It's also partly what we're discussing here. What do you think they have to do differently? Because realistically speaking, if you just put the same amount of investment as the top 16 who are already full-time, who are already established top 16 players, you're not going to break into the top 16 players. You just have to do some things differently. You have to put either more investment or different investment, or change your way of how you engage these topics.
I think my advice to them is to focus on improving and not doing anything else with the game. Not streaming, not playing team games for fun, not playing anything that doesn't rely on or doesn't revolve around practice and getting better. Don't do it. Like, don't spend any time on AoE2 if you're at that level on something that doesn't help you improve. So play 1v1 ladder, watch videos, watch tournaments, see how the pros are playing, talk to the pros, ask questions, and just do that every single day consistently. Don't spend time doing anything else, because I think it's the only way to like compete with, like Daut was saying, like the professionals. If Daut plays for 10 years now, is playing full time, you're not going to beat that by playing a few hours of competitive and a few hours of for fun every day. You have to do something special. Yeah.
I think we need esport teams, more esport teams. I think the Fox did sign up like Mihai Morgul, right?
That's a topic for later as well.
Oh, we didn't have the topic, huh?
Yeah, it's number 4.
That's a big step.
Talk about it.
Yeah, that's a big step. That's about how it needs to be done. Like having a full professional team with young players, and obviously it would be good if they grab all the players there to help them out. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying me, but for example, if I was ahead of Fox, for example, I think I would be a great deal to help them out, improve, and how to prepare a tournament, how to draft, what to focus on, and so on. But actually, and that's how every other esport team does it, right?
The problem is esports teams have no incentive to come in right now or like at lower levels as well, like because there's basically no money to be made if you're not in the top 16. So I feel like maybe the first step that has to happen for the top 30 to top 50 to actually justify investing more time is for more money to get pumped into that section of players. Just a little bit of money that gets pumped in there that the top players, the top 16, can't really take a part of. So one example could be like having some regional leagues set up in different areas of the world. You develop the top 30 players of every region, for example, top 32 players, and the top 16 currently can't take part in those regional leagues. So money comes through to the still really good players, just not the top of the ladder.
I think it's more about the time on the big streams. Like on the big tournaments, they should be shown more. They should create the image, like they should create the brand out of themselves, right? Like during QTD, 20K viewers are watching MEM TV. They should use that time. Like maybe even MEM should help promoting them and all the big hosts, right? Creating the new Liereyy, new Hera, right? Bring some attention to those players.
At the end of the day, all that stuff helps. Like all that advertisement helps, but you still have to like accomplish something. You still have to like break into his top 16 eventually. Because if you always go out in group stage or top 32, top 64, you're never gonna get the attention. Because it's not possible for event hosts to highlight 64 players, you know?
True.
Yeah,
So
but
you just have to. So
it's a nice little push, right?
Yeah, it goes both ways. But I would mention more about like gameplay wise what they have to change. Like what can you do differently? Because when I broke into the top, what was it, 16? I still remember my escape run where I beat Viper in the best of 1. I had like my own style, you know. I had tried some stupid shit. I had tried some Drush FC into Microwave Expo. That's what was my favorite strategy. That was what I was good at. And even though it was a cheese strat, a complete cheese strat, it was best of 1, you know. It was enough to break into the top 8. It was my first big appearance. Since then, people knew me. And I feel like
that's the point, Liereyy. That's the point. It's a very different competition now and then.
I know.
You fight Viper, only full time was Viper. Now there is 20 of us who are full time.
Yeah,
fight me like
you beat Viper in the best of 1, and then there's me and Liereyy afterwards. There's Mr. Yo at the end. Like it's like you have to do that.
I mean, nowadays if you beat like one top player, usually you get in their bracket, right? So you yoink their seat, you yoink their bracket. So
yeah, you get to go last the next round and you're out, and that's it. Like.
If you're Daut, yeah, you're out.
No, you did amazing in QTD, like. Well, at least you pushed it all. You pushed it all, like that. That's good from.
I was about to say what my point was is that you can't just play standard on ranked games and expect to do good in tournaments and break into the top 16. You have to do something different.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know. Like, if I had the perfect advice, like I don't know. Like, I just when I broke through was like 7 years ago or something. I don't know what the top advice is right now, but you can't just play ranked games all the time and expect to break into the top 16.
Yeah. But how they play outside? Like, for example, I don't know, new 2.4 player comes, hey, Liereyy, you want to play and practice with me? Off stream, of everything? I want to improve. You will be, oh, yeah, let's take that. Or you will not even answer.
I'm not going to promise. I'm not saying that I will play them, obviously. But back in the days, I used to play with heart all the time. Like, when I broke into the top 16 scene, I played with heart all the time, tried out different shit. Like, look for some other players who are also wanting to improve. Look for, like, players who are on your level and push yourself. That's how me and Hart did it. Like when we were top 4 and top 2 in KTD. We both reached semi-final. We practiced every day. We tried different shit. We were the up-and-comers. Hart was a no one back then. Then he beat Tato, you, and that's basically...
Yes.
Well, that's because of the way he pursued his career. But yeah, I mean, playing ranked games won't get you too far, honestly. I mean, it's good to stay in mechanical shape, but...
Now look at MBL.
MBL is already an established top player the last 10 years. But as you can see, like he still only plays ranked games. He got top 4 in KTD, which is really good.
More than you.
Apart from that,
why are you talking shit? Your name is right next to Liereyy's name in KTD. You guys lost same round.
I was closer to win.
I'm not even gonna mention your results, your past results, Daut. I'll have to go through the top 32 list.
Bro, I didn't even see Daut at NEC4. Like.
Nice guys, nice way, guys, to encourage top 30 players, but saying the top 16 player, I didn't even see him. Yeah, that's nice job, guys. Nice.
If you talk shit, we're gonna talk shit back. I mean,
here's the thing, though.
How will Murgugo feel if you talk like this to the top 16 player?
I wanted to say something, Daut. You said that, like, okay, the 2K4s, the 2K5s, they're looking to improve. They're looking to practice with tournaments. I actually helped a few, not like that many, but I actually helped a few 2K4s, 2K5s before tournaments get better and talk some strategy beforehand, off stream, off everything. And I'm sure I'm not the only top player that would do that. I'm sure guys like Velez, guys like Vinchester, that they don't have this established team. Like maybe GL have their group, AM have their group. Velez, Winchester, they practice with guys like Dark. They practice with guys like, I don't know, Velez practices with Max. Other players around that level, they can definitely ask and they can get some practice. I think players would help, honestly.
That's why I say it's important, like, to group those players in one team, like one new improving team, and would be amazing to have one lead guy who will guide them the correct way.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
But who would that guy be? Does it have ideally it would have to be already an established top 16, top 8 player, right? But who would
yes,
team up with the up and comers, right? Who would leave their own established team where they already have something going for a risk, basically?
For the right
'Cause
money,
that's always-
for the right money, I'm out. For the right money, I'll go
you
help
heard it
them
here
out.
first.
AM's not
That-
paying me enough.
that is the problem, right? That's the problem
Yeah.
because, yeah, exactly that, right? The new players, the new teams will have a hard time breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
The community in the top is quite small, and all are well connected, right? I will not leave GL just to help some random team, right? Like, it's not GL only because of my team. Like, we know each other for 20 years. We are good friends, right? So that connection will always stay there, even if I stop playing.
Yeah.
And that's why the new players to establish themselves, it's really, really hard. So it needs to be a professional organization who will be willing to pump in the money in them, right?
Yeah.
And what they get in return, well, not much right now, right?
I
Not much
actually,
right now.
I wish Microsoft would probably, like, obviously we have limited resources right now, but I wish Microsoft would distribute the money right now a little bit better. Like, honestly, for the big tournaments, like the 100K plus, we can afford to shave some off the first, like the first place, and just give some a little bit elsewhere as well. I feel like that would be probably beneficial for everyone. But then again,
I do feel like we have been doing a good job of doing that, though.
It
'Cause I feel
has
like
been getting better.
the
Yeah.
past tournaments, it's like 100K, 80K, and then the first place gets like 20K, which is like 1/4, which is reasonable. And then the distribution is better towards the end of the placements. So
Yeah.
we're
But
going.
you still cannot make a living out of that, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
still
the
need outside sponsor.
It doesn't
And
help that a top 32 player gets, instead of $100, $300. Like, sure, it's nice, but it won't make him go full time.
Yeah.
He still has to
Exactly.
break into the top 16, so the distribution can only make so far.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Regardless of how you distribute it, you always need to jump to those top spots to actually.
Unless the prize pools go like 100 million, I mean, 500,000 or something, then it's obviously different. But we're not at that stage yet.
Yeah.
And for example, Hart, like, he was doing amazing recently. Why? Because he had you guys, right? You
Yeah.
guys were practicing, preparing him. Imagine if Murgugu was in your team. He would probably improve same as Hart. And that's what we are missing in the game right now. How do we get it? Chad, do you have any ideas? I think it's a must. I think the game will not last for the next 10 years if we don't have the established new generation.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I think that people are really comfortable right now with like their favorites at the top, and it's like the fans are tuning into the tournaments. But when the top guys start to like maybe not be able to compete with the up and comers, and there's not that many up and comers, what happens? Like, then you just have like a small group of people, and you don't have that full new generation that are making it there. Because right now we have just like a few guys that are competing and getting into that next level, but we don't have enough of them jumping in and competing while we still have the top guys competing at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm the oldest player, and I went through like all generations from the no money generation, like no money in the game, to now this professional scene. And it was way easier back then, right? When Viper was joining the scene, they earned nothing, right? And he still, treated it as a hobby. It was way easier because I was not a professional player myself. We were just having fun with the game. But now when we have established top 10 or top 15 who are making the living out of that, I think it's actually bad for the community in the long term, because the new players cannot compete, and then they will lose the motivation, right? I think Mihai even said, if I cannot break in the top 16 by the end of the year, I will quit, right? And that's normal, that's reasonable. And more young, talented players that love the game will face the same problem.
That's a really good point.
And I'm not giving my money away. I don't give my money away. We need outside sponsor.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, I think we said everything we had to talk about with this topic. We can probably move on to number 3 now, and that is more of a streaming and AoE2 community kind of topic. And we have Viper and T90 potentially coming back to Twitch. So here's the story for those who might not have been following. They left to Facebook around September or October of 2021. So September, October of this year, that would mark 2 years. So if they had a 2-year contract, they would be maybe coming back to Twitch, or maybe trying out another platform, or maybe renewing with Facebook. We actually have just no idea. But let's assume in this situation that they'll come back to Twitch around September, October. Is this going to be a big, push for the AoE2 scene on Twitch? Is it good to have these two big streamers back on Twitch? How will it affect the scene in general? What do you guys think about it?
We have already seen that once, right? Like Viper moved to Mixer when it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he exploded completely.
Yeah.
I think before Mixer, he had I don't remember the exact numbers, but he had then the scene was smaller. He had 800-900 viewers, and when he came back, boom, his first stream was few K viewers, and then he, I think, stabilized 2 or 3K viewers on a daily stream. And, chances are this will happen again. Same with T90. They are our bigger streamers with you, Hera. So,
Oh, they're way bigger than me. They're way bigger than me.
What you have 4 times their viewers right now, No?
Yeah, when they're on Facebook.
Well.
Lierey's a bigger streamer than Daut when he shows up, don't worry.
I stream once a year, that's good enough.
But actually,
I feel like this same could happen again. The explosion, if they decide to come back to Twitch, that they explode again, they have a few K viewers again, then hold it, and then other streamers benefit as well. Smaller streamers and bigger streamers. The whole community team grows from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be amazing if they eventually come back to Twitch. There is no question about that. The term, Hidden Cup 4, right? Was 4? Was the highest view number we ever had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think T90 broke 25K subs during that event.
Yeah,
which
nuts.
is top 5 subs in the whole Twitch, right?
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane. You cannot compare that to anything.
Yeah.
So exposure we will get if they're back on the Twitch would be, well, maybe looking good for Mikhail on Google.
Well, I think especially it could be a revival of the scene, because right now it's not like we're going down or anything like that. But for the past 2 years, I feel like we haven't really been growing with tournaments. We're kind of been the same. You can look at the prize pools, you can look at the viewer numbers. Yes, we had the pandemic 3 years ago or something, or maybe 3 years ago at this point. That probably helped boost the viewership. But for the past 2 years, after Viper and T90 have went to Facebook, the viewer numbers and the prize pools have more or less stayed the same. So I think with them coming back, it could be that time where AoE2 starts to go back up again. I think that could be a really, really big revival for the scene on Twitch.
That's for sure. And imagine T90 making his own team and get Morgogo, Mihai and so on and invest in them. Promote them as well.
T90 would play on his own team, I think. I think T90 has that competitive bone in his body. I think he actually likes to compete as well. But I think
keep it nearly.
In which tournament was that?
I don't know, but he even lost T90.
It doesn't even matter what tournament. I saw it on T90's channel actually. T90 vs Nilly. Actually jokes. Yeah, but T90 and Viper coming back to Twitch would be pretty massive, I think, for just the day-to-day streams as well, because they bring in a ton of viewers from YouTube every single day as well. And I think when the viewers come from YouTube, they go to Twitch, they see T90 and Viper, they also have a chance to see other streamers that are around there as well.
And if there is a big tournament hosted, if T90 does Hidden Cup, he gets so many viewers, they see oh, Hera, who is that guy? Let's check him out. There's interviews as well, but that all helps, right? That all plays huge role. So I hope we get them back eventually.
Yeah. And this brings us into another topic as well. This is very big topic in the streaming scene in general. Not that big in AoE2 scene, but we did have Kapach move over to Kick. And Kick is a brand new streaming website similar to Twitch that has been coming up recently as they bought XQC and they bought Amaranth, so 2 really big streamers from Twitch. But the question is Kick coming into the equation here? Is there a chance that T90 or Viper or other AoE2 streamers going to Kick, is that a potential downside for the AoE2 community in general if it gets split again?
Yeah, I think so. Just look at the last 2 years when Viper and T90 switched to Facebook. Viewer numbers stayed the same, the 2 biggest streamers back then just moved away. And, they're not really growing on their platforms, meaning Facebook, too much. And obviously, it hits everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the same boat. So if some of us jump off, then obviously it gets harder to keep riding the boat, right? So
I mean, it's good that Twitch is getting some competition. That's healthy.
That was needed,
but-
yeah.
But as AE2, we need them on Twitch. We
Yeah.
absolutely need them on Twitch.
And so we're all in agreement that having all the big streamers and pretty much all the streamers in general on the same platform would just help drive the viewer numbers up across the board, pretty much.
Or we all move to Kick. Like, I think we all need to be on big place. That's
Okay.
definitely needed.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, well, I think we covered everything in this topic. Now we can move on to the esports side of things as well. All right, Daut, tell me, why esports team? What has Gamer Legion done for you as a person, as a player?
or the teams before actually, Secret,
Oh,
you know,
true.
don't want to forget them.
Secret, Tyrants? Well,
We're
Tyrants.
also mentioning like on other interviews so far. We talked about it on streams. Why it would be very important for us as well to have an organization.
Like, Team Secret was the first professional team I think we ever had in Age of Empires. And the exposure was quite big, actually, because, well, they are a huge team. And they were also having Dota streamers or Counter. I don't even know, but I know they were hosting us daily on the Age of Empires, right? Like, back then, it was normal to have 100, 200 viewers, and then bam, you have 3K viewers, and they hosted you, right? They were, well, promoting us, and that was very, very good. And they saw, like, the other teams saw a bit of potential. Like, okay, but it's Age of Empires, why Team Secret is into it? And that did help us grow, but only us, sadly. The other big sport organizations didn't take care.
Didn't bite, yeah.
I don't know why nobody likes you guys.
It's funny, actually, because we're jumping a little bit here, but I think GL, if I remember correctly, GL reached out to MBL, and they were going to sign with us because they thought you guys were with Team Secret. MBL never checked his email, and then all of a sudden, we lost that opportunity, so... Maybe
Thank you, MBL.
Maybe MBL had GL, G2 Esports, freaking Fnatic. Maybe they're all lined up in his email. Who knows?
I can
All
only
the trash
say thank
cans.
you, MBL.
Oh god.
Well, maybe he's still getting the offers. Like, maybe he should check the email. Like, and why did he contact MBL? Was he like a team leader of AM?
I have no idea.
No one knows.
No one knows. Not even MBL knows. MBL's first question was, "Why did they ask me?"
I must be a troll. Ban that guy.
That's so funny. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, but
Yeah, go
it
ahead.
would be better if we stay Team Secret and you guys were on our GL. For community, it would be way better. Then we would have two really, really good esport teams. But I prefer it like this personally.
Okay, let me ask you
GL
this:
was kind to us.
what does GL provide for you that you wouldn't have without, if you weren't GL, if you were just another clan?
I need to read the GL contract to answer that question.
Leaks everything of the contract.
Let's say stability and also the gaming house. That's an amazing thing.
Okay.
Like, now when I'm a bit older, that's a dream when you start playing, when you just start esports, like having the gaming house with your online friends, spending there a month training, having fun. Now it's more like a chore, honestly. It was disaster spending like 24 hours with Jordan. But back then it was like a dream. It did sound good back then.
That's there,
But
just
yeah,
missing his kids, basically.
Yes. Like, after first week I was like, God, I miss my kids. Like, all the yelling is better than this. Watching Jordan eat 24/7. Like, it's too much, man. It's too much.
At least they got you to the gym a couple times, though. I remember seeing the Instagram stories.
Yeah, that was disaster as well. Like,
He broke every single ankle after the gym. For
exactly, because as I said, I'm a very competitive person, and I wasn't in the gym for like, I don't know, 10 years. And then it's like, Tato going 20 kilos, I go 20. Tato go 40, I go 40. Tato go 50, I go 60. Fuck you, Tato, I go stronger. The next 7 days, I was like this, not moving my hands. And yeah, that's why I lost Red Bull. It was very painful, very, very painful.
Oh god, I didn't even hear that story. That's so funny, man. God. Okay, so we said that GL provides stability. We all know that means financial stability. He just can't say it because of the contract, probably. So probably monthly salary, something like that. But yeah, so they provide facilities, stability, and they also provide, I think, which is really unique, jerseys and something to unite the players very easily. Is that something that has value as well? Like from the outside perspective, if I see Daut, Viper all wearing the same jersey, I know right away they're connected. Whereas me and Liereyy, where I'm wearing like an Adidas jersey, he's wearing a freaking Nike, and no one knows that we're even connected at all.
You guys are full of different sponsors, right?
So I think that's also another big advantage.
Does look cool, like when there is a big LAN event and the whole team is like entering with the same jerseys, like they are part of the team, like you feel more connected. And then you see Liereyy with his Peru t-shirt, like couldn't even get those out your flag, correct? It's a bit of a disaster, but overall, yeah, the stability is the biggest deal, right? Now, even if I don't perform the best in the tournament, I know I will be able to pay my bills, right? And if I had to play tournament, like my life depends on it, I'll probably would have way more gray hair than I do right now. It's very simple, right? Like you depend on winning, and then if you lose, like you need to think about your future, like that. You play way more relaxed, right?
The problem with the competitive scene right now as well is that like if you ever depend on winning a tournament, there's actually no way to really guarantee that you'll win it because it comes down to usually very small things. Everyone is very strong at the top level, so there's no way you're actually guaranteed the top spots. It's just too hard to get to that level where it's going to be a very consistent for you. So I think that having that second source of income, that second, that external sponsor helps a lot of making it a full-time job and not just like depending on every single tournament that comes through.
And also, like, the more I think about that, like, imagine we are both depending on tournament prize pool to make our living, our month. And then I play against Kapoch first round. So I know if I beat him, he will struggle the whole month, right? It just feels wrong, right?
Yeah, especially when you're such good friends with everyone, pretty much.
Like, he's also he got the family and everything, and you're like, we all know each other for 20 years, and then like it will be happy for me, but I need to destroy other guy future, and that's also quite bad.
Okay, let me ask you this: how does GL benefit from having you guys? Like, what did they get out of taking the time investment of having you guys be GL?
Don't ask too much questions here. Next topic.
Okay, no worries. I mean, I did have a brief experience with Team Tempo, me and Liereyy, but that ended up being kind of a disaster for different reasons. But from what I understand, having that social media presence is really good for you guys and really good for their team as well.
I mean, like, we are all, let's say, big names in Age of Empires community. Their social media did grow because of us. And now they are actually doing really insane in Counter-Strike. They finished the second place in the major. The Twitter, the Instagram is exploding for them. Like, they're growing as a team. And they took the risk with us, right? They took the risk. I remember I had similar talk with Liereyy. Like, why anybody wants to make an esport team? Now, imagine football 100 years ago when there was no money in it. To own Barcelona, you would need to invest, I don't know, 100K. And today is worth 100K billions. So if you invest into proper time, well, it's risk, right?
Yeah.
But now you invest little, and imagine GL in 10 years be like Barcelona for the esports. They're billions, and now they're obviously spending money, right? But eventually it might pay off huge, right? Esports is growing. Like, esports is growing faster than sports, I believe.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. A long-term investment makes a lot of sense. Well, AM getting an esports team is something that we're wanting to do as well, but we haven't had any success recently, unfortunately. But I think for us, I mean, Liereyy, for you personally, what would you look for out of an esports team? What do you think that would change for you?
T-shirt.
I mean, for me, it's different to most other players, right? Usually AoE scene is more the streamer scene. And since I don't stream as much recently, it would be a bit different for me. But obviously, it would take things to the next level, right? Like right now, I just compete in tournaments, which I still love. I'm also a very competitive guy like Daut and all the other players as well. So I will always have that spirit in me. I will always join tournaments. I will always try to be the best. So that will never go away. But if I had like a team supporting me and like backing me off with like boot camps, shirts, or just even social media exploration, obviously boost your motivation, and just knowing that you have your esports team behind you, like a team, and you show up as like five players or 4 players, 6 players, whatever, and then you actually just battle it out, and potentially against other teams as well. When you have that rivalry like GL and AM has, it's just something else. You take it more serious. It connects you more. It's just different feeling when you go on the stage and you're playing for someone, and those people are cheering you. They're like in there with your heart, and they're like your second family, right? So it's just it would be something special.
Yeah, you're not just playing a game 1v1. It ends up being a lot more than that. Like this preparation that goes in. You all travel together, that kind of stuff, and it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Daut, anything left to say?
Give this guy a T-shirt like Nate.
He's not allowed to say anything anymore about esports.
The contract is already looking suspect for Daut.
They're already like looking through the contract. 50% price below. I don't want to be like Nico, man.
All right, going on to number 5. Are monks overpowered? So here's the deal here.
The question should be why monks are overpowered, by the way, not are.
Look how long they will be overpowered.
So monks have went pretty much unchanged besides a couple things. Like their cost and most of the technology costs pretty much remain the same for like the past 20 years, I believe. Just some small things where the conversion times changed. But in general, I would say that the balance for AV2 is pretty solid. Besides like a few civs, most of the balance is solid. But I think monks in general are quite a polarizing topic. Some players think they're completely overpowered. Some arena players think that they're completely fine and there's reasonable counterplay. Some viewers are conflicted. They think monks are fine. Some viewers think that they're overpowered. And monks in general are hard to use. So the general public won't really understand what the pros feel when they're up against monks. The general public, even from beginners to like up to 2K2, they're not going to be using monks to their full potential. It's just a hard unit to micro, hard unit to incorporate. Are monks overpowered at the top level, though? That's the real question here.
Yes.
Yes.
Not even close. not even close.
Okay.
Like, think about the value you get. You spend 100 gold, and you can pick up relics, and especially now.
Even heal.
The healing part comes after. That's like a bonus as well. But just think about relics alone. Like nowadays, games are so tight, and if you collect relics and you have like a relic advantage, you play completely different. The whole game is completely different. You win every late game in general, and you can just chill. You can camp a bit more. You have the defender advantage. You don't have to push. You're not on the timer. All that advantage is only through relics. And then you add on top the healing effect. And you get so much value out of them, and the converting effect is just the most broken thing ever, actually. The fact that you can also like garrison them into the TC, and you can, if you play it right, you should never lose a monk if you're defending. Never. You can always garrison them.
Yeah. I mean, I think you pretty much summed up most of it, but just to add on to that effect as well, just how strong the conversion is, let's think of it this way. If opponent is making knights and you make monks, you lose your monk, but you get a conversion. That is worth it. Not only did you get 60 food and 75 gold worth of a knight killed from your opponent no longer has that, you have it for yourself. So you lose 100 gold, but you get the 60 food, 75 gold, so 135 res on taken away from your opponent and to your side as well, which is absolutely
plus 170
massive.
Resources if you think about it.
Exactly.
Plus 170 resources.
Exactly.
It's like killing 2 crossbows for free.
And that's a massive, more than that, I think, or yeah, at least that. But that's like, that's like the worst case scenario where you get a conversion, or a very average scenario where you get a conversion and you lose your monks. Most of the time on defense, you're getting a conversion and then you can garrison your monk in the TC, and the guy with the knights just has to run back. And if he gets unlucky, he loses a knight and he's kind of screwed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like my only problem with monks, it's not that, okay, it gets conversion huge value, but my problem with monks is it's instantly good. As reaction, you drop monastery and that's it. Like it doesn't require upgrade, doesn't require anything. You just drop a monastery, you create one monk, and knights are, that's it. He cannot raid you.
I don't think there's ever a bad situation to make a monastery in monks.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single bad situation. You will always find value if you use them correct. There's always value. You're never at a disadvantage if you drop a monastery in the monk.
I actually agree with that. I think there's so many ways to make that monk get value. You pick up a relic that pays back within like a few minutes. If you heal up a full knight, that pays back for the monk right away. The monastery itself is 175 wood, and you need it to go up to the next stage, Imperial Age. So it's pretty much a situation where if you don't know what to do, drop a monastery, make monks, and you're, like that was saying, getting instant value right away.
Yeah, maybe monastery should cost more. Like 250 wood, some food as well. Drop something more on it. Like, okay, Monk 100 gold. I think that's a solid balance. It's very expensive unit.
I don't think it's
very
expensive,
fragile.
actually. I disagree.
For early game, no, because the gold is then
Yeah.
easiest to get.
Yeah.
But as game goes on, yeah, the gold is the biggest resources in the game.
Fair. Yeah.
But the thing is, if you make monasteries more expensive, for example, it's a night war, the opponent has to react to the monastery as well, just because of how broken monks are. So then he also has to pay the same price, so it would be equal, and monks would still be broken.
Yeah, if one guy
But
makes
maybe
it...
then you don't. Maybe it's too expensive, and then you can just keep it knight or at crossbow.
Then you will have to
play versus monks.
Honestly, what would the monastery cost? Then 500 resources?
500. We can balance it out. It's still, I would still make it. Like,
I know you would with the market. All good.
Yeah, I don't know if touching the monastery. I mean, what I will say is that the monastery is a building that doesn't require a prerequisite. For example, like the siege workshop needs a blacksmith. I think the market needs a mill, whereas the monastery needs nothing. So you literally go up to castle with whatever you're doing. You can always make a monastery and monks, pretty much, like regardless of anything else.
Monastery needs a castle. That's a decent one.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, I kind of like that actually.
that?
Ruin
Yeah,
every
really
arena
good.
game. Oh, I actually love that. Arena is
Really good,
unplayable.
Like
I
on
don't
Arabia,
think it's
there
the same
you
anymore.
can make monks, but get a castle first, right?
That's
that-
let me think.
That's a solid balance, man, right there.
How does arena work? There's 5 relics in the middle. Does everyone make a castle to fight for them, or does one guy just boom instead?
I
Well,
think you would go for the
decide,
castle, honestly. They would go for the castle into fast imp.
And then you go Spanish castle and even do the unique tech and make monks even better. Scratch that, man.
But the thing is, why are we even balancing monks around arena? It's one particular map, and if you look at any other map, in the
Like
whole map,
Arabia, let's say. Let's
not even
balance
Arabia,
around
it's
Arabia.
BF, it's arena where monks are overused, it's BF where monks are heavily used, Arabia as well. In Arabia, it's the worst actually. In Arabia, monks are heavily
Manx.
abused.
Freaking
fact-
Manx.
Did I say Manx? Fucking Manx.
Yeah, I think the
Every map.
problem in Arabia is actually worse than arena. So let me give you guys some context because some arena players have a few things to say about this as well. But usually their argument is just that monk rushing in particular is a very fragile strategy. So going for a monk rush with redemption, sanctity, 3 monasteries, and pushing is good, but it's very fragile. If you nerf monks, that strategy could be obsolete, and that is a bad thing. Losing strategies from the game is not a good thing. They also argue that monks in late game for maps like Black Forest, or just late game team games, etc., monks are very similar to some of the other power options in late game, like bombard cannons and siege onagers. And if you change the balancer on monks, then we might not see monks being played, and they don't want that to happen. So what do you guys think about that? That's usually along the lines of their arguments.
I think monk should be a support unit, not an army. Like monk is there to heal, to pick up relic, to deny the army with conversion, but it should not be the army. It's not like 20 monks, 1 ram, let's go. That's just wrong, right?
Okay.
And that kills even light cave at that point.
Yeah,
My
I'm not
issue is,
sure if Lightcap actually counter monks 100%. They counter them in early castle, but I don't think they counter them in late game, because if you mix monks with halbs, Lightcap all of a sudden just doesn't do enough.
What about making heresy cheaper?
The thing is,
An
heresy
option, but not
hard
every civ has
counters.
heresy.
Yeah, not every civ has heresy, and heresy is a bit too hard of a counter to monks. Like,
Is it? You still get a kill, right? Like you said, if you convert one knight, you kill the knight, you get more value from your monk.
is
Like
true.
it's equal, and you still can save the monk, right?
I still think it doesn't change the general meta. It's more like thinking about arena, honestly. Because if you like reduce the cost of heresy, make it 700, it's still way too expensive in a normal map. Like ideally, we balance the game around standard
Arabia.
maps, not only one map. Well, Arabia, for example, but not only Arabia. In basically any map in any tournament, no matter if it was Empire Wars in Red Bull, if it was an Arabia and KTD, you have always seen monks. And the way people use monks lately is just absurd.
yeah,
Like the top players, if you watch them, they would literally never lose a monk unless they go out for a relic and for a risky play. But if they just camp with the monks near a TC, there's no way you ever beat that. It's just way too broken. And then the fact that you can collect relics, heal as well, it just get immense value. There's literally never a bad spot to make a monk.
yeah.
And that's why crossbow play is even better, right? The knight play doesn't counter crossbow so easily in right now.
Yes.
But with the monks, like if you get 2 conversions, suddenly you have a meat shield as well.
Also, keep in mind, crossbows have been nerfed the last 5 patches. Arbalists have been getting nerfed. What other upgrades have been getting nerfed?
Yeah.
Crossbow upgrade.
I think the crossbow arbalest upgrade both got nerfed. Price
Heavily as well.
Yeah.
By like 200 resources, which is pretty big if
Yeah.
you play for timings and like aggressive maps especially.
So here's my take. I think it's good that Expos got nerfed, and that was a good example of a unit being overpowered, getting a small nerf, and still being good. I think the same thing can happen for monks. Monks are so absurd right now in certain situations. I'm convinced if you nerf them a little bit in the right way, they're still going to be strong. They're just not going to be as overpowered. Look at every single game from any tournament. Monks will always be used, whether it's to pick up relics, heal, or convert, or monk push. Monks are always being used. I don't know if there's a single other unit besides crossbow and cavalry, like scout and nightline, even though that's 2 units. I don't know if any other units besides those 2 that see as much play as the monk. So monk is literally up there with the main 2 lines of military, and it's multi-purpose. It pushes, gets relics, heals. It does literally everything.
Yeah. And for example, on water map, I land you with the knights, you get monastery, and that's it. My risky landing is done, right?
Yeah.
It's just so instant, so good, and then you just pick up relics. Even like
In general,
even then, and convert the fire galleys. Like they give so much value.
They do everything.
Even on water maps, they're insane. Because if you make a monastery, once you reach Castle Age, you have 3 monks out, 2 free monks to heal, pick up relics, maybe even land, snag a relic from the opponent's island. If the opponent lands you, what can he have that damages you that you can't defend with monks?
Yeah.
Nothing. He can't land with knights. Good luck massing 20 expo on your island till you land him.
Yeah.
He can't land with siege because you can just do redemption for most civs. What do you actually do? There's no landing possible, which makes water maps a complete one-trick pony as well.
Yeah. And just to talk about like how we see expos very frequently as well, expos and monks go hand in hand. Literally, like if you go expo opening up against cavalry, you literally just add monks 10 out of 10 times, and that makes expos even stronger. So the reason why we're seeing expos dominate in most Arabia games right now, or just in general in most like open land map games, is because monks pretty much like the cavalry player can't deal with monks. Lycav
can't go knights.
Yeah, you can't go knights, and Lycav's a decent
Lycav's
option.
not doing good enough against archers.
Exactly, Lycav's a decent option. It's really good against monks. Like Lycav is the only good counter to monks, and even then late game it's questionable. But early game, Lycav deals with monks, but Lycav deals very weak or very poorly with most other options, and that is the big problem.
And the crossbow player needs to be outside of the map, so Lycav can pick up those monks, right? And if he is just at home, go imp, well, you invest to the Lycav as much as my imp cost.
Yeah.
And also the problem with the monks, like knight play plus onager should counter monks and crossbow. You convert one knight, I'm completely dead, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna push you. It's too risky, right? I depend on that one conversion.
Yeah.
It also makes the defensive play way too strong, in my opinion.
So the result is
The monks defensively are way too strong.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say the result of both of what you guys said is no one wants to push, and everyone just wants to boom, play at home, play safe, and that's not a good Age of Empires for tournaments. Like that's just not what attracts the viewers. We want pushing to be like a very reasonable option and something that players go for. If defensive play becomes the best, games become very boring right away.
Yeah, exactly that. Even the forward hill is not worth it to push. Like you will establish that position, but then you will get fast imp because your units are way more expensive, and it's easily countered by 200 worth of gold monks, and that's it. Like it's just too damn good. And if you're really committed to the pushing, just click redemption, and then again it's blocked. And then there are teams like Bengali, Sastic that are just like, come on.
Crazy bonuses for the monks.
Yeah.
And I would say that the only reason we don't see monks dominate certain tournaments or certain games is because players know how strong they are, so that they form their strategy to not lose to monks. Like simple as that. They always make sure to play range units. They always make sure to, if they commit to a push, it's a surprise push. It's not something the opponent can prepare for. I feel like all the top players recognize how strong monks are, and so we naturally play to incorporate that into our strategy.
Yeah.
I think game would be way more aggressive, way more knights would be seen if monks were way worse against knights. That's it. Like Lycav should not be only counter.
In general, knights do show a better gameplay. They're also more enjoyable. There's more raiding. There's more commitments. You actually have to engage. You have some investments, so you have to kill some units as well. So they just provide better gameplay.
Yeah.
It's more
Like,
enjoyable to watch.
When you think about it, to make a counter unique to the monk, how much you need to invest to the light cab? You need stables, you need light cab upgrade, you need speed upgrade, and you need light cab. That's a very expensive unit of the game. While gold, you float a little bit gold, make 2-3 monks, and you're good to go, right?
So like
It's
have
way easier.
anything else. Like what are they actually good at? They're decent at raiding, but even at early game they cost way too much to just throw them away at raiding. They're not really good at engaging. They die to crossbow, they die to knights, they die to any infantry. So they're only there to snipe monks, while monks have multiple values.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning that they are nerfing Sanctity in the next patch from 120 gold to 175 gold. Do you think that's enough, or there should be more done?
Not even close.
Right step, at least.
No.
Step at the right direction.
I like what Daut suggested, what he told me a couple months ago. That there should be an upgrade. There should be an upgrade in the monastery. You have to research that in order to actually be able to convert. If you create a monk, you have no upgrades, it can't convert, but it can heal, it can collect relics. So you have to make that upgrade in order to actually get the full value of the monk, so you can actually convert other units.
Just to stop that instant timing counter to the knights. Like that upgrade should not even be expensive, just takes like 25 seconds. It's not like I see the knight, I drop the monastery, I instantly convert you. Now you need to anticipate the time going knights, and you will get the same value, but at least scout me. At least scout me.
Invest a bit.
I have an idea actually. What if it's similar to that idea? You know that unique tech in Imp? What's it called? The one that makes you generate faith 50% faster? What is it called? Illumination. Yes. It costs 120 gold, right? What if we make that an Imperial Lich tech, and that we change the effect to make it so monks can regenerate instead of regenerate faster? They can regenerate, and we make it so monks in castle don't regenerate. So you make a monk, it can convert 1 unit. That's it. It doesn't regenerate. It's a pretty extreme change, but it still gives your first monk instant value, but it doesn't give you that snowball value where if you're, if the one monk converts something and survives, he's now so strong on defense, he still is really good. But on aggression, if you're still monk pushing, you make 20 monks. So if one of them gets 1 conversion, okay, he becomes a healer, he collects relics, the next monk can still convert. So monk pushing is still fine, monk defense is still fine, but not abusable. You don't snowball as hard, and then in Imperial Age, you get that technology, and monks can become full playable again. And you can give that technology to like all the civs if you want to.
I like the idea, but feels too gimmicky that will ever be created in the game, right?
fair.
That's really like I like the idea. Like, that's good. I would like to play that game, but I don't see it happening. Like, it's too hardcore for the arena players.
Yeah, it's a bit too
drastic change from go to 0 to 100.
Yeah, I think the other changes that I've heard Viper wanna implement is like to lower the RNG, like make it 1 more second for minimum conversion, 1 more second less for maximum conversion to make like the possible conversion time a little bit closer, so it's less extremes so far as to say.
It still would not affect you. That's
always
for sure.
gets minimum.
That's
always.
That's it.
Mr. Yo conversions for always.
I think we covered monks pretty well.
Yeah, I think that pretty
now
much
we have Q&A, so we're gonna talk about monks a bit more, I have to imagine. So.
All right, guys, this is where we open it up to Twitch chat. So here's the deal. I hope Liereyy and Daut, you have the Twitch chat open. It's on the screen as well. So if you see an interesting question, bring it up. We answer it. We talk about it. That's cool. Chat, feel free to ask anything we discussed, anything else that you want to talk about. As long as it's AV2 or esports or something relevant, we're likely to take it. So definitely feel free to get those questions in the chat, and we'll start answering them.
Even topics you suggest for us to discuss next time are more than welcome. What would you like for us to discuss next time? Suggest topics, anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing yet. Come on, guys.
There's nothing.
What about the promised tourney calendar? Will there be any in the near future? I don't think that's up to us players. I would love one personally. Oh, Nineville starts? Question mark. What do you guys think about that?
Yes.
Good. There.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really good.
Yes, big thumbs up here as well. Nineville's is, in my opinion, the future.
Best of 21 against Liereyy. Let's go. I'm game for that.
Yeah, put some prize on the line, so I guess.
Well, Hera will organize that. Like, he will put something.
Yeah, like you organized the podcast today. Everything perfect.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever. For the right price, if you guys throw in the price pool, I'll organize it. I'll get these two together.
Best of 21 arena only.
Oh, only monks. Go.
Yeah, only monks, of course. Then best of 21 micro scenario. Only micro.
Looking at
Half the questions I read are just like things that are not too good to talk about, you know, like just some personal stuff, like how much would you move to kick for X amount? Like,
I mean, would you guys? I mean, the thing is that only targets me and Daut because we're streamers. I don't know how much.
I would. They offer me something. They offer me enough. I mean, I don't stream, but I could, you know. If the contract is good.
Registration fees should there be for tournaments so players don't give up without efforts? The players are providing the tournaments. Registration fees. Imagine the guy who earns nothing has to pay to sign up.
Like Nico punishment is to give 50% prize pool to the tournament. Like that's the real punishment. Like
Mihai's like 18, he has no money. Mihai pay $100 to sign up. Viper's gonna be your round 1 opponent. Good luck. That's never gonna work. That's amazing. T90 often says that pros aren't that in favor for Hidden Cup 5 because of the random brackets. Is this the case for you 3? What do you guys think about that?
The random brackets in Hidden Cup?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good for players, or it's just not the best system for players. But at the end of the day, we all play to attract viewers, right? That's what we live off. The more viewers we get, the more sponsors are going to look our way, the more Microsoft's going to look our way. So at the end of the day, it is more important how the tournament performs overall than how it feels for a player. So
random bracket is good, but players should know who is who.
Yeah.
Hidden Cup should be only for the viewers.
Yeah, exactly.
I should not practice whole month for, let's say, 100k tournament. It's like a life-changing amount of money, especially in first place. And like I practice tattoo every single day for a month, and then I play him first round. I mean, it's too much money for that, right?
Yeah. I think if Hidden Cup, which it is looking to be like the biggest tournament, maybe besides Red Bull, prize pool wise that we're gonna have, I feel like it should be as competitive as possible for players. So the only quote unquote gimmick for players should be the random brackets. That makes a lot of sense to me as well.
Read.
Okay,
it's going too fast.
Is bad pathing too important to the game to ever be fully corrected? Example, if Cav had perfect and easy pathing, Archer play would suffer immensely. What do you guys think about that?
That's a dream that will never come true. Like I stopped believing it's bad finding. Once I see the villager, like you put the boar, I cannot even explain what happens. Like when you click the villager and it goes across the other walled part of the map to enter your base, it's like it's okay. Like it's okay. Just always look when you click. Always look at your babysit. Like
I think half the game right now is babysitting the lumberjacks to make sure they're all working. That's the best player, babysit the best of the lumberjackers right now.
Who of you guys are interested in playing Stormgate? I feel like that's not really an AoE related question, but it's still an RTS, so
yeah, it's worth answering.
check it out. I believe all of us.
I'll probably play, but not stream it, just to try it out. Daut?
I'm gonna destroy it. Yeah, I think I will be the best one in the game.
Daut in his 40s.
I'm still young. I will try to improve. I will see how it is to enter the top 16 there, step by step.
6 is next 40
game
years.
is so far looking promising from what I saw. Like how the game is designed, obviously I don't like it because I like Age of Empires, I like history. I don't like those StarCraft type of units.
Yeah, same.
But the way the effort they put on all those details, they feel like they want to make it esport, and that is looking very promising.
Well said, agreed.
Do you think about the possibility of play rated on a specific map only? That's an interesting topic, actually.
I think they should bring rated lobbies back. I think that's 100% what the future of the game should look like. You should be able to just host your lobby, play whatever setting you want to play versus someone else who agrees to play those settings, and that should count as a very fair way to increase in the ladder. Yeah. Yes, we're going to have some people that only play Nomad at 2K, but that's just how it is. They're really good. They're 2K level at that map, and that's fair. So I think rated lobbies are the best way going forward for that.
I'm surprised we lost that. Why would that not be a thing? And it's obviously possible. Like Age of Empires 1, Return to Rome, they got their own ranked lobbies, right?
Mm-hmm. And
just do it for it as well.
And there is a chance for people to abuse, but like you can't really abuse that hard. Like you can play against someone, resign, play against someone, resign, play against someone, resign, like to boost your friend. But you can boost a couple hundred elo, and then after that, it's just not worth it. So there's very little downsides to rated lobbies right now.
Now you can abuse everything, but yeah, if that happens, well, just
Punishment.
eventually it will be spotted and deleted.
Yeah. How many civs do you think the game can handle? How many more civs?
Give me more. I like new tips. I like new options.
He likes
Keep
Dravidians.
pumping them in.
I like new civs
Trying
because
to
Daut
use
picks
as
them
much as possible.
and loses with them.
The Iridians are insane.
They're terrible.
I freaking love it. I know, but I like them, man. They feel so good on paper. The openings feel so good, but suddenly you always lose. Like you end up losing. I still cannot resist, man. I cannot.
More
The man
Dravidians.
at time cheap, like 200 wood right to you. Scrum shot faster, like everything, man, everything. Supplies that cost nothing, like best deal. That never ends.
Why don't we have more companies sponsoring tournaments?
You're not interesting enough.
Not enough profit for them, I guess.
Yeah,
Five
not enough yours.
up and coming players for you guys. What do you guys think?
I don't even know the current players. Ask Daut.
Mihai Morgugu. I think running is quite solid on every map now.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how old is he. Who else do we have?
I
Well,
was-
Sito is always around.
I would say Barles. I think Barles can definitely continue to improve. He has stepped
Barros
up.
is not upcoming. He was there like Red Bull 3, no, Red Bull 4. He was top 16.
Red Bull 5 he was
No,
as
top
well.
12. Yeah, he was in every Red Bull. He is doing good, right?
Yeah. Sebastian. ooh.
Valas did jump.
Sebastian.
Sebastian. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Kingston,
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sebastian played insane.
I think Sebastian's really good. Yeah, he's crazy. What do you think about AV2 sports betting?
I don't
Take my money. I click it.
I mean, it's part of every big other sport, right? Part of every big other game. So I feel like it's just part of the process of getting bigger, unavoidable.
I think. Oof. But at what stage you like? Imagine round of 64. There is betting for that game. How do you not fix the score? Like, let's say, I don't know, Song is playing against
Bad example already.
Bad Boy, and like suddenly that game is worth 1 million. Like, how do you control that?
I mean, the players wouldn't know, right? I mean,
The players would.
They would bet themselves. Like, the freaking Liereyy. Like,
ideally, you have like people checking on that. Otherwise, everyone could just bet on themselves, enter a game, and then just lose on purpose. Everyone will be a
Yes.
millionaire. There's like sites that check that. It's not that easy as you might think.
yeah, I tell my friend, okay, go bet on me because I'm gonna say I don't feel like playing today.
A random guy just bets $1 million on Daut. Has never done any betting before. He lives in the same city, in the same street. Completely random. Just wins 3 million right now.
There's VPN. There's ways to do those things there. And obviously, if you're too greedy to do 1 million, you will be spotted. But you can do it 1,000 every tournament, and like, well, good income, right? Then we will get more professional players.
I'm against betting in general, so I probably would not want to see that. I don't really see what value it adds. What's the thing in AV2
Yeah, I
you
think
guys
it's
hate the
bad.
most?
What was the question?
Sorry, what's the thing in AV2 you guys hate the most?
Players.
I'd say monks.
Monks.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. It just suck all the fun out of it. Every time you hear that noise.
Yeah, monks. Micro.
Ooh,
Dodging ballistic.
this is a good one. What is the most competitive tournament?
Did you like play less try hard on the gym hack than you did on QTD?
No, but I played,
Like you won same prize pool.
I played less tryhard in
No.
T90 Titan League though, and that was S tier.
Well, prize pool effects, right? So prize pool, but all S tier got a similar prize pool, and I value them same.
Except
Now
T90 Titan
for
League.
the-
Like that being S tier makes that whole like. Maybe we could talk about 100K tournaments. but-
Yeah, it's like S tier with a huge prize pool or worth same, obviously for winning, but probably hidden cap is then worth moves because of the reach, right? You gain that as well. So yeah, the reach and prize pool combination has to be done hidden cap.
I think right now it's NAC. That feels to be the most competitive. Maybe not the most rewarding, but the most competitive.
How it's not most rewarding? You've won it, man.
Well, yeah, but
You didn't take your reward.
my word hasn't
I will
come in
take
yet.
reward. You take my. Let's switch rewards. my game right away. I can give you my card.
How about base conversion times being similar against Teutons and then a tech costing a lot of food that brings the current conversion times?
Ooh, I like that one. Attack that speed up conversion. Yeah, I like that idea.
And it costs food, so you can't get it easily. It's
too bad.
interesting.
Yeah, I like that one.
How do you think the meta will develop in the next year?
I don't want to say because I don't want to see it. I think the game will be very, very ugly soon enough.
Oh, wow, okay.
If you were following Arena, like on Arena, it's way easier to do it, but like sending villages with your army nearly did warn us that for years. I think it's coming.
Yeah.
Like imagine having the crossbow army, a forward castle and so on. You move a little bit, and then Paladin comes in, and you have 5 villages, just gate, move back, gate, move back.
But then again, we can just nerf gates and like how much HP they.
Barrack, stable, anything. You drop anything, but you just drop anything.
You bring a villager. You prevent that. You can be like forward and not get surrounded. You have a base.
Yeah, exactly. He can never jump on you.
Well, that's mostly an issue in Arena, but in Arabia, it sounds good in theory, but
I think it's too hard to do, honestly.
It is too hard, but eventually, well, if you asked me 20 years ago, would we dodge ballistic? I would say, come on, man, be realistic. Read description, man. It's 100%. I see it happening. Maybe not on all games, but in certain scenarios for sure.
I had a good question, but I have to find it. Yeah, how much do you think individual donors, supporters can influence the future of AoE2?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think they play a big role in supporting individual streamers. Like for example, I wouldn't be able to stream full time if I didn't have my community supporting me, and if I didn't stream full time, I wouldn't get good results in tournaments. So for me, having people supporting me, individuals, it's life changing for me. For others, I imagine it's very similar. For the scene in general, I think it probably just adds up, right? You have more people full time, and that just helps push everything forward.
Like back in the days when Daut, you experienced that you had the Tyrant sponsor, right? It was also only one guy, so and that guy was huge apparently, from what I heard.
I absolutely agree with Hera. With Liereyy, nobody agrees. The donations at the beginning of streaming was so like we would not be here without that part of the community at the beginning of the Age of Empires. Like I start streaming, the viewer numbers were not that good, but support was insane, right? It motivates you, it provides you way to live, and then you keep streaming, giving the content. The tournaments came in. Like the first step was community supporting the players during the streams, right? That did lower down lately because community realized we are getting huge prize pools now. They don't need to support us that much, which is obviously good, right? Now the sponsors are in, and we are getting to that esports level. But at the beginning, it was all you guys that made this possible, basically.
Daut, as a middle-aged, is ahead of most of us in terms of life experience. As a man who one step ahead of us, does he have any advice for us in real life?
That has to be more specific. Advice about what? Be happy. Real life, be happy with your life. Don't do harm to others. Be respectful to others. Don't do to others what you wouldn't want to do to yourself.
Are you the 10 rules of the Bible right now, or what?
I cannot say I haven't read that book, but it's just a common sense, right? Be happy and don't hurt others. Make everybody happy. We are all happy.
Okay, now Daut, you follow those rules.
And sub to Hera.
Oh, I like that one. That's rule number one.
If you have Twitch Prime around.
That's rule number one. Look at that.
If you
Okay, I have a question for Daut, actually. Who's the best team game player on GL?
Probably not. It's hard to say best, but Tato role would not be replaceable, let's say. Like Viper and me play similar roles. Doesn't matter. Like if Viper in pocket or I'm pocket, maybe he's slightly better, but won't affect the game. And if he don't have a player doing Tato role, they would hurt. I cannot play that messy Ruben stock thing. So yeah, Tato for sure is most valuable player in our team.
Okay.
Will play styles like that of Dauts be as good as Hera's or Lierey's micro-intensive styles in the future?
I'll answer that one. I think in the future, like the AoE2 right now is headed to a place where micro plays a bigger and bigger role. Why? Strategy is becoming more and more known. Meta for every tournament is becoming more and more known. So the biggest difference are the small micro moves. And right now, people get away with bad micro because, or slightly bad micro, because no one's playing that perfectly yet. But as the game gets evolved, like more and more, micro will play a huge role. And I think that we're headed to that direction where if you don't have good micro, you will not be able to compete with the top guys.
I hope not.
I think that's unfortunately where we're headed. So for guys like Daut, might be a little hard. Although I don't think you have bad micro, Daut, to be honest. Not that bad.
Lazy micro.
Yeah, he's just lazy. He just doesn't do it.
Thank you guys for support.
You're welcome.
That was a compliment, by the way. Like, you're actually pretty decent at microing.
Decent is a compliment, okay?
I'm just saying,
Thank
like,
you.
when you try, it's fine, you know?
Like, you need to look at dictionary, like, amazing, flawless, those are compliments. Decent is, okay.
I mean, if you were flawless, I'd tell you were flawless.
It's like, how was the sex, the husband? It was decent. Yeah, take that compliment. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Which other teams do you think could challenge AM and GL?
What?
Which other teams can challenge AM and GL?
Suomi, WWP, and we have some really good teams for the Delicious Cup, right? I think Dogao, Miguel, Winchester. I think they signed up.
Ooh.
Like, there's a lot of healthy mix. Yeah, the tournament will be really good. Now, they are not established teams because they just made it for this tournament, but if things click for them, we might have a really healthy team game scene.
Yeah.
Oh, Cito, Miguel Dogao, but I think Winchester sign up for somebody as well. Maybe ACM. Like, there are some unexpected teams.
Dream comp for a 4v4 team.
Liereyy, Viper Flank, me, Yo Pocket. Or Daut, me / Yo Pocket. Probably.
Thank you.
Just because you're here.
I know. It's decent.
He will take it. I would agree.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up, actually. So, I don't know about you guys, but I think this is pretty solid for a YouTube video. So I'll say thank you so much for watching those on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed our first episode of the podcast. We are planning to make this an AM podcast, so me and Liereyy will probably be here every week. Maybe Hart will join, maybe some of the other AM guys as well. And maybe we'll have guests like Daut as well join us. So thank you, Liereyy and Daut, for joining. And it's been a pleasure. And yeah.
Thank you for the invite. And yeah, thank you, Hart, for being sick so I can be here.
Of course. Thanks for watching those on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, we don't have a name for the podcast, so recommend one in the comments below. And let us know what you guys thought. And until next time, take care. Bye for now.